Hi everyone, Big Mac here. Welcome to our first level of Let's Play Yoshi's Story for the Nintendo 64. We are already here in World 1, the beginning. So we actually have 4 stages that we can choose from at the very start. For now, let's pick stage 1-4, the Tower Climb. Here you will then have a selection of Yoshis to choose from. You can choose your favorite, it doesn't really matter what color. However, depending on a couple of things that you may have seen at the beginning of the game, you may have seen the game ask for you to select your favorite fruit. So you may have picked one of the 4 fruits, either melons or bananas or apples or grapes. And of course, different Yoshis will also prefer different foods as well. So I'm introducing a lot of the mechanics that are going on at this point in the game. Again, there's a lot of things that Yoshi can do. Yoshi can run around, Yoshi can jump in the air, Yoshi can actually do a little flutter type kick that lets him stay in the air for a little bit longer. Yoshi can eat and grab things, and then over here, as we see, Yoshi actually has eggs as well that he can collect. Yoshi can carry up to 6 eggs, doesn't matter the color, but the default is usually the same color as yourself. You can then actually aim those eggs in any particular direction that you want to go to. So we also saw at the very beginning there was that flower that was giving Yoshi health. We're going to actually have to keep mind of our health, which is indicated by the little petals of the flower in the upper left corner. We're going to have to keep track of Yoshi's health to make sure that Yoshi doesn't get too hurt, or the worst thing can happen, or bad things can happen to Yoshi, of course. So in this level, stage 1-4, we are experimenting with these propeller type situations, so we can fly up them as long as we can, and perhaps it's just my controller, but it seems that Yoshi starts to tilt a little bit to the left. Again, that might just be my controller, though. However, in this stage, if we explore all these areas around here, Yoshi can actually discover a lot of things. By walking to the very end of that passage, we saw that it looked like 2 other fruits just appeared on the other side of the wall. So of course we can get to those in just a little bit, and then we can collect those. In terms of the fruits, there are 100 fruits altogether. 30 of them are melons, and 30 of them are your favorite fruits, or the lucky fruit that you picked at the beginning of the game. So again, if I didn't pop up in this particular video, but my current favorite is set for grapes. So if Yoshi decides to eat, a batch of his favorite fruit, then it will actually refill his health all of the way. Other fruits will only pick it up 1 or 3 petals of the way through. So Yoshi can take a couple of hits by bad guys. You haven't had to worry about that too much at this point in the game. However, there are a number of things that Yoshi can do with these enemies. One, he can just jump on them like regular, and he can actually sometimes gain a little bit of health for that as well. Another option that Yoshi can do is he can actually eat his enemies, and depending on how they taste, he can actually transform them into an egg to use as ammunition for later on. Common enemies that will be popping up in this game are Shy Guys. So we're actually going to be able to use them as our ammunition going on further in the game. Right now, Yoshi's playing around with an umbrella, and what that umbrella is allowing Yoshi to do is to fall down very slowly, and actually, instead of using his flutter kick, just kind of glide down this short chasm. It's actually a very nice quiet ride. The other thing that happened right now is Yoshi is super awesome happy because Yoshi ate 6 fruits in a row. It can be any fruit. Right now, I'm just picking these melon fruits. So Yoshi picked 6 fruits in a row, and this little happy heart appeared from the sky. So upon eating that, a couple of things happen. One, Yoshi actually becomes invincible for a short while, and Yoshi is also able to use an unlimited number of eggs, even if he doesn't have any on his person at the moment. So it's a really cool thing. And then sometimes coins, depending on where you are in the game, coins will just randomly appear out of nowhere as well. So you can collect those to help maximize your score as well. So there is a score system that mainly consists of how many lives do you have left, how many Yoshis do you have left in the game, how many fruits have you eaten. In particular, the ones that I'm trying to collect right now, melons. Like I mentioned before, there are 30 melons in the stage, or 100 fruits total. And to finish the stage, you can eat any 30 fruits that you wish. Right now, since there are exactly 30 fruits, and you have to eat 30 to finish the level, I'm trying to get all 30 melons just as they are. Of course, you may want to just grab whatever the first 30 fruits that you come across are, or perhaps you could try getting 30 of your favorite fruit or of the lucky fruit. I believe there are always 30 of the lucky fruit in the stage as well. And there are always the others. All the fruits are always available in every stage. There are 100 total, like I mentioned. So right now we're playing around with this ball mechanic. So there's this little ball with an exclamation mark on it. Yoshi can jump onto it as a platform. Yoshi can also use his tongue to propel himself upward to the particular platform as well. So if you're not able to just quite reach it, you can use your tongue power to, get up to that section as well. So one thing I forgot to mention a little bit earlier was these little characters with the numbers 1 and 2 on them. These are Miss Warp. Miss Warp will actually allow you to run around the stage, and by activating them by jumping on top of them, they allow you to, warp to different parts of the stage. So note that in this game, the stage does not end when you reach the very end of it. It will actually start looping back around and take you to the beginning. The only way that you can complete the level is by collecting 30 fruits. And again, any 30 fruits are fine in terms of finishing. But in terms of maximizing your score, you may wish to try and get as many melons as possible. So, Poochie the dog down there was trying to indicate to us where the location of a particular hidden item may be. Maybe a fruit, maybe something else. So what we are doing is we are using our sniffing ability, and if something is nearby and Yoshi starts sniffing it, then he will actually start increasing the rate at which he smells things, so he will sniff faster. And if he's really, really close, then he will be able to, a next little exclamation mark will appear over his head, and that will tell you you're definitely in the right area for something. To find the thing, you can actually just ground pound the area right around you, and then hopefully something will pop up. It may be a fruit, it may be another special item. Like that huge happy heart that we just saw right now in the top of that tower. What are those? Those happy hearts are actually what allow you to activate more levels as you continue through the storybook. As we saw in the beginning of this level, we can access any of the 4 levels to start with. However, by default, for each of the next levels, we can only pick the first stage that is available. So stage 2-1, stage 3-1, etc. If we want to make the other stages accessible, we have to find these big giant happy hearts. We can tell that one is nearby because we can actually hear the soft sound of what seems like a wind chime to me. And if you hear that, that tells you that a huge happy heart is nearby. And again, there are 3 in the stage, and if you collect all 3, then you'll be able to access all 4 of the possible stages. If you only find 1, then you can have 2 stages to choose from. If you find 2, you can have 3 stages to choose from for your next level. Admittedly, there are a lot of different paths that you can take while playing this game. I'm not going to be going through every single path because that would take much too long, but over the course of this Let's Play, I will be covering every level at least once. So make sure to use the annotations to guide your way through the levels as necessary. What Yoshi's been discovering out here are actually the tulips, which is another kind of flower that Yoshi can use to propel himself around and fly around in different directions. So we were actually able to find a couple more melons and another happy heart for us. So it looks like we're making steady progress. We just found Miss Warp number 3. And at this point, we're starting to near the end of the stage. So we need to start paying attention for a lot of things. One, are there any last melons that we can pick up? And if not, we need to start looking around for the last Miss Warp as well. Near the end of the stage, there will usually be a Miss Warp number 4, as well as a small urn or jar, which will actually transport you back to the beginning of the very stage that you were at. So here, we would go back to that room with the propellers that you would ride upwards. In this room, we are going upwards as well, but we're actually using air power and Yoshi's fluttering ability to lift ourselves up higher and higher all the day. We found our last happy heart actually out here on the left side, and it looked like some of the clouds were actually hiding a couple of melons. So, sometimes melons might have a coin or something indicating that there's something secret and hidden. Other times, you may just have to try and find them all yourself. So that might mean using your sniff ability just all around the different areas. And indeed, here we have reached the last Miss Warp and the warp back to the beginning of the stage. I'm just going to take Miss Warp because that gets us back up a little bit higher than taking the urn would have. But notice that, again, you can collect any 30 fruits. I've collected about, what, 22? Something like that. Fortunately, they're all melons so far. We went back this way because there was one that I saw that I wanted to try and get a second time. I'm actually going to try and avoid using the umbrella. That way Yoshi can use his flutter kick instead. So if you guys remember, it was right here underneath this egg box. And again, you can pick up your eggs from there. And yes, there we go. Admittedly, I'm not going to be talking a whole lot about the level in these first sets of videos. Because, again, you could be starting at any stage of this first set of videos. So it's mostly going to be introduction and stuff like that. Let's see here. The only other thing that we missed was, remember back in the second room, once we were inside the tower, and it mentioned finding a special jar? Did we ever find that? So we tried going up, and that was where we had found Poochie the dog. However, I didn't see any particular special jar. Did you guys? Well, let's see if there's another route that we could have taken. Indeed, in this room as well as in all the other levels, there is actually a mini game that that Yoshi can play, and with these question mark type boxes, you can either stomp them, maybe throw an egg at them, maybe you can push them around, and you may get different things out of them, or perhaps nothing. So here in this particular mini game, we are going to try and jump as far as we can to collect the remaining melons. There are actually, for all these mini games, you can collect a maximum of 7 levels, and the mini game varies per stage. So this one is a jump as far as you can mini game, which I only got 3 of the 7 melons for, so not that great. Some involve carrying melons, some involve, you know, doing a race. How fast can you get to the end point? So it mixes it up a little bit. Now with a happy heart in this minigame room, here at the end there's actually a letter that pops up. Every stage will have one unique letter come up to sometime over the course of the game. What do all the letters spell out? Do they spell out anything? Well, we're just going to have to try and find that out for ourselves. However, since I know that I missed 4 melons, and that I was missing exactly 4 fruits, here I'm just going to scrounging up whatever leftover fruits I could find, and indeed, here we have found our 30 fruits. After you've completed the level, it does tally a score. I am not concerned with score at all in my part of the game, because, again, I'm going to be taking a very specific path, and you guys may be taking this path, you guys may be taking other paths, so I'm not too worried about this cumulative score screen. But, after we complete every stage, we get to read from the storybook. Not knowing where to go, the Yoshis just climbed as high as they could. When they reached the top and looked around, they still didn't know where to go. Finding the Super Happy Tree might not be as easy as they had thought. The page turned, and the Yoshis grew happier. So now that we had found all 3 of those happy hearts in our particular stage, we can now access any of the 4 stages here in level 2, the cavern. So go ahead and choose your next level at this point. You can either go to the pits, the maze, the boilers. The choice is totally up to you. By default, the playlist will go to the next level that I choose. So until then, this is Big Mac saying, later.